Hey everybody, Tommy Dimsdale from Dimsdale Debate along with Marcus Strickland. This past week, County Council was absolutely packed due to a rumor that there was going to be an ordinance voted on that night, this past Monday, to impose a ordinance about not being able to discharge a firearm within any county limits, which was entirely false. Marcus even got a pamphlet talking about it.
I received a pamphlet at work, somebody gave it to me, that just, you know, sort of a mass-produced, home-cut kind of thing. And it said, quote, Councilman Jeff Horton wants to take away your right to defend your family in your own home with a new gun ordinance.
Oh no!
Go attend the county council meeting on, Monday, June 15th, 2015. And it had the address and everything on there, and it's like, this is the most outrageous thing I've ever heard.
I'm really glad that everybody showed up seeing something like that. I'm not making fun of that at all.
I'm making fun of that, because that was way over the top.
It was way over the top from whoever printed it. Of course, everybody showing up they were doing their duty by showing up as responsible people. And I'm very glad that happened. However, there was even one lady, just to talk a little bit more, I talked to her outside after all this. We're going to show a video. We're also going to show a clip from David Britt. If you want to click on that, it'll be right here. He was very gracious enough to do an interview with us and explain a little bit more what they were wanting. In fact, they don't even really want an ordinance. Yeah. They want this to be handled more on the private level.
Yeah, check that out for some more inside information.
And of course, at the end of this, Marcus actually got some great footage of Councilman Bob Walker right here. Click on that if you want to check that out. Trying to slip past a big tax hike.
Quite a number of them.
Quite a number of them. So definitely check that out. Doing that at the last minute, right as everybody left. Anyways, I talked to this lady, and she was on the other side of it. She was quite angry that she didn't get to speak, and there were so many people that were on the opposite side. But she had a bullet come through her roof, which is not cool. And I talked with her enough, changed her mind. I made a difference, not just made a point, and asked her a question. And said, "Hey, do you think?" Because she'd mentioned that the ordinance wouldn't really probably make that big of a difference. I said, since that ordinance probably wouldn't make that big of a difference, as you already agree, do you think that maybe we could come at this from an education standpoint to where we can educate people in our schools, educate kids and young adults in our schools about gun culture and gun safety, and that way having a gun isn't a big deal and you're not just super,
Yeah, it's not like a Hollywood image, it's just...
that you just go firing rounds off in the air. They're going to know better, and they're going to know the safety procedures that go in and the responsibility of owning a weapon.
We live in a society where there's lots of cars, so you teach your kids to look both ways before they cross the street. We have lots of guns, and there's no education because we're afraid of educating.
Exactly. But anyways, I think it was really cordial, and I guess our main thing was we didn't want the Tea Party to come off as being a bunch of crazies who are just freaking out at the moment.
And really all the arguments were very,
They were good. I really do think they were good and they were respectful. But anyways, we're going to roll some clips of that, and you guys check it out.
And let me start by saying this is presented as a safety issue. And this is a safety issue. This is not about infringing on anyone's Second Amendment rights. No one's going to take anyone's guns away, and we're not going to hinder your ability to protect your homes or family regardless of where you live. We're tasking this committee with looking at the best practices that will balance protecting your Second Amendment rights with the safety concerns of people living in these densely populated, residential, platted subdivisions. This group will be working throughout the summer to maybe find solutions as we move forward. Earlier today, we have appointed a committee to look at possible remedies in these really isolated incidences of either shooting high-powered rifle in a subdivision or target practice in subdivisions. The committee members, as presented, we have Sabrina Guest, a retired county deputy. We have Brent Glover, City Creel, David Chapman, John M. Barton Jr., Sonny Justice, and Paul Williford. And then from staff, we have County Deputy Administrator Jim Hill, Deputy County Attorney Jeannie DuPont, and from the Sheriff's Office, we have Captain Tina Metz. I have appointed Jim Hill as temporary chairman as he works with this committee to examine other counties and all the laws that are on the book that may address, again, these very isolated instances where these neighbors are very fearful for their families' safety in these areas. So let me read the rules of council. We have a number of people that have signed up. You have 3 minutes each, and there's a 30-minute
As
time.
far as to and fro, I don't really even think this is an issue to be brought up to council. I believe we have enough laws on the state books to be able to handle this. I understand safety issues, but personal property and private property rights should remain with the owner of that property. I understand the county. I live in a subdivision, I have a couple of acres, and I could shoot on my property, but choose not to because of my neighbors. So you have to add a lot of common sense to that.
I don't think we need a new law. I do think that we need to use more common sense as individuals. The government doesn't need to babysit us. The individual should exercise some common sense. These laws, as was just put by the gentleman before me, are already on the books. Let subdivisions make rules, for themselves in their own subdivision.
And you know, folks, I told somebody the other day I can sympathize with these people in the development. That's people who I feel are abusing their Second Amendment rights. You can exert them, but they're abusing them. And what you're going to do, and I looked at Councilman McNutt's article, I read it, and it was good. He points out the reasons that we're in here tonight. Irresponsibility. People neglect, they don't respect the rights of others. These folks shooting in this development, that's ridiculous. But I'll say this, I'm like these other folks. If you pass an ordinance and the buck stops with you, you're the ones in the school system, we hold people accountable. You're accountable to these folks. And if you pass an ordinance, I don't feel like it'll help anything. I think other people will start to complain. Squeaky wheels get greased. Okay, you're going to hear other squeaky wheels. And what you're going to do, you're going to set a precedent. This anti-gun, this is a national thing, not just a local thing. And what will happen, you'll have this county ordinance. Well, it'll be amended. I see it being amended down the road. 5 years. To include these areas here. It'll be like a cancer, eating up Spartanburg County. And this committee that's already appointed to really consider what these folks say. And that's all I have. And thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Then as a community, encourage the 4-H shooting programs as children grow older to teach the proper safety. Children that grow up with an understanding of gun safety don't have the accidents others do. Most of those programs also teach how to understand your surroundings and the dangers of ricochet and trajectory anticipation. Education is the best answer in every case.
We are opening the door to creating a new government entity for private home shooting range inspections, permit fees, ticketing, and intrusion. We have laws on books already that address the concerns here tonight. It is not right and it is not justice to take force with fees or infringe on another person's property rights. I think we have all been infringed on enough on our property rights with the excessive property taxes that if you can't pay, gives the government the right to take it from you.
Again, no ordinance has been crafted, and do not know if one will. One of the reasons that we are here tonight is because the sheriff has informed these very isolated subdivisions, there is not a law that would pertain in their area, and they're very concerned for their safety and for their family's safety. So that has been addressed with Sheriff Chuck Ryder. He has nothing at his disposal to work with these individuals to provide for their safety. So again, council is looking for input. We received a lot of input tonight. And again, this committee will just look at the existing laws, existing noise ordinance, anything that will assist. And again, we had a lot of people comment tonight on large tracts of land. That's not, we haven't received any phone calls. We haven't received any complaints from any of the individuals that spoke tonight. It's very isolated subdivisions, and they're really within less than a half mile of city limits, and of course the city does have some restrictions there, and they are just seeking help for the safety of their families. If this committee, it may just come up that they say, hey, if you're going to target practice in your neighborhood, in your subdivision, at least go to the sheriff's office, inform the sheriff's office, and inform your neighbors so they can get out of town that day. In your neighborhood. It's nothing that we have relished. We knew this response would be elicited, and again, there's certain individuals that have, in my opinion, disseminated information that is just totally wrong from what was being addressed by these few isolated instances. And again, Mr. Bishop, sorry, when I look back at your name, you spoke, you live down near Mr. Harrison. And again, I understand, yes, County Bishop, I understand your, and one of the ladies as well, comments regarding this thing, would expand in the future. But again, I wish you all happy shooting. And we're not taking your guns. We're not trying to keep you from shooting on your property. That's not what was being addressed. Sheriff Wright told these few subdivisions he had no law in existence that would help protect them or work with these individuals that, again, you stated were not showing common sense for their fellow man. So with that being said, thank you very much for your comments. We do take those very seriously, and appreciate you being here tonight. Next, we go to old business, item 7. Render third reading to an ordinance to amend, we'll hold up a minute.